and welcome once again to another video painting tutorial here at dressart3d.com. Today, I am going to walk you through how I painted the Ashen Matriarch miniature. Before I ever pick up a brush, I spend time reflecting on the lore. For me, lore is the primary concern because it's the bridge between a plastic sculpt and a living character. It's about bringing to reality what is imagined in your head. With the Ashen Matriarch, the lore was beautifully laid out in her very name. Her story revolves around Queen Elonora Vesper, her degradation, her stagnation, and her final transformation into a being that manifests and infiltrates through ash, dust, and soot. Color theory and strategy. The color palette had to reflect this stagnation. Ash is naturally gray, so that became our anchor. But how do you paint degradation? For that, I chose a desaturated purple. Historically, saturated purple is the color of royalty, rich and intense. By desaturating it, we take that regality and twist it into something dull, obscure, and uncertain. It mimics decay to the human eye and psyche, perfectly capturing the Queen's fall from grace. The Zenithal foundation. I began with a Zenithal undercoat. I applied a solid black primer and hit it with a white airbrush pass from a single overhead angle. This mimics natural light and provides an instant roadmap for where my shadows and highlights need to fall. This is a crucial step for achieving that natural atmospheric depth early on.
The base coat and initial shading. Next, I applied an airbrushed base coat of deep purple mixed with white in a 3:1 ratio. This specific mix instantly desaturates the tone. I heavily diluted this with water to ensure it stayed transparent, letting that Zenithal underpainting shine through. Once that was set, I moved to the first shading pass, a 3:1 purple to white mix, but this time in favor of the purple. I applied this with a brush to control the flow into the crevices. Pro tip, keep a clean, damp brush nearby. If the paint flows where you don't want it, use the clean brush to absorb and wipe away the excess immediately. Deepening the decay. To finish the shading, I applied a layer of black ink into the deepest recesses. I did this for two reasons. It adds extreme depth and it dirties the miniature. Because she is a manifestation of soot and ash, she shouldn't look clean. This layer really sells the idea that she is composed of crumbling, unstable material. Highlighting and blending. Now, the highlights. I return to the 3:1 purple to white mix, this time favoring the white. I applied this with a highlighting brush to smooth out the transition.
Think of this as a stabilizing layer. It cleans up the hard edges from the previous washes and makes the volumes look more natural. After that, I introduced a very light gray to the mix to lean further into the ash theme. Finally, I used the airbrush one last time with a very thin, diluted white to glaze over the larger surfaces. This pulls everything together, unifying the colors and softening the transition between shadow and light. To finish the volumes, I hit the highest points with a final, non-diluted white highlight. Detailing and the base. Up to this point, she was a single mass of smoke and soot. Now we bring life to the details. I worked on the eyes, the claws, the horn crown, and the frontal skull, the parts of her that feel more solid. I used bone colors for the skull and claws, and a sharp red for the eyes. This creates a striking contrast against the desaturated purple body. Finally, the base. I kept it within a gray palette, shaded with blue and black ink to add texture to the stone. I painted the bricks with the same gray theme, and for the skulls on the base, I mixed in a bit of gray to ensure it looked like they were being reclaimed by the ash. Everything must feel like it belongs to the same decaying environment. Conclusion. By focusing on the story of the Ashen Matriarch, the painting process becomes less about following a technical recipe and more about narrating her history through color and light.
I hope this helps you bring your own version of this queen to life on your hobby desk, and would really like to see what you come up to with my miniatures. So if you manage to paint one, please send me even a single photo. Thanks for appreciating my art.